everyone, happy Monday. Welcome to another planner picture. We have a really pretty flower terrarium today from World of Flowers. It's quite intricate, there's quite a lot going on. I don't think it's going to get finished in the one video, but we'll just see how we get on. I'm going to use my Staedtler pencils. Oops, I'm just taking the lid off, my tin's broken. These are the super soft colour pencils. The lid was actually broken when it arrived, but it was sent to me in the post by Staedtler for free, so I can't complain. Anyway, these are their super soft ones, but the colour numbers on Staedtler are universal. So if you've got Ergosoft, if you've got the other Design Journey pencils that aren't super soft, any Staedtler, even I think it even matches up with their paints and things like that. So I'll tell you the colours I'm using, and if you don't have this specific set, you'll be able to match up with what you've got. It's just a 24 set. The super soft, as far as Staedtler told me, only come in 24, so we don't have the full range. The other Design Journey ones, which aren't the super soft, I've not tried those, but I think they come in a 72. The Ergosoft, of course, come in a 36. Yes, I'm looking at my tin, but I can't see it properly. They come in a 36, but they have been discontinued. So although you can still buy them at the moment, they're not making them anymore for sale in USA and UK as far as I'm aware. That's what Staedtler told me. So it means we need to sort of adapt and move on to their other brands. At the moment I'm saying Ergos are still my favourite. I'm a little disappointed that the super soft aren't just the Ergosoft with a different casing. But you know, anyway, moan over. Oops, let's get on with colouring. Let's come in a lot closer. I think I'm going to turn my book like that so that I've got a bit more to lean on. And we're going to start at the top. Now we've got this sort of ornate detailing. Sorry, let's come in for the sort of handle, I suppose, here. And we've got a bit of detailing at the bottom. I think we'll do that first. Then we'll work on the actual pretty flowers. So there are two ways that I would approach doing this. I would either do it in silver or in gold. In this set of pencils, I've only got a light grey, so I'm not thinking that's enough for me to do a silver. I would want a darker grey really that I could put on quite hard and then fade. Could do that with a black, but it's not something that I'm really that familiar with. So I'm going to do gold instead and show you how to do gold with these. Start with the 76, which is my darkest brown, and do a little bit. I'm not going to press very hard, and I'm just going to do the areas that I think would be really dark. So, and fade it, okay? So press quite gently anyway and just fade it off. And do the same through. I'm going to ignore this patterning at the minute, and we'll come back to that. Now you could do these circles as gemstones, but because they're not that big, I've decided to just incorporate them into my gold. So I'm not going to do them that way. Now I'm doing a little bit each side and bringing it just in woods like that. I'm actually going to do the same on the bottom, so I think I might do that now. Now I know we've got all this patterning, but I'm just going to ignore it at the minute and make this gold. Now this is a longer, wider and longer bit, so I'm going to make this area of dark brown a bit bigger. In your Ergosoft set of 36, or if you've got the 72 set, I don't know what's in the 72 set, Design Journey, I mean Ergosoft doesn't come in a 72, don't get confused. It'd be lovely if it did, wouldn't it? Anyway, if you might have more dark browns, so you might want to transition through some shades of dark brown, but I'm just going to apply more and less layers to get my dark, because I only have the one dark brown. I think it's quite good seeing how to do it when you've got a more limited range. It's actually much easier the more colours you use to do a graduation in shading, which is what effectively we're going to be doing. Like if say you're doing a sunset or something like that and you're going from red to yellow, if you just go straight from red to yellow, that's quite difficult. But if you go from dark red to medium red to light red to dark orange to light medium orange to light orange to dark yellow to medium yellow to light yellow, it's much easier. There we go. So I'm happy with that. Now we're going to use our next lightest brown, which in my set it's very easy to pick because there's just this one. It's number 73. Oh, I was holding it too high. Number 73. I have to say I quite like the black casings. I'm going to go all the way over what I've done. I quite like the black casings because the white writing on the pencil shows up really well. I think that's quite good. Now this isn't looking very gold, is it? Don't panic. It does come together, she says to herself. And to you guys, obviously. But you'll see that it worked because you would have seen the thumbnail picture which shows it finished. I don't. I haven't got that yet. I feel like you're travelling in time. You've seen it finished before you started. No, I'm just waffling now. Okay, we're going to do the same on the top part. Remembering again, this is much smaller, so we need to do a much smaller area. Do a little bit on here too. And I just go gently, slowly and delicately, and it's really good fun. I find it sounds odd, the slower you colour, the more relaxing it can be sometimes, says the person who colours really fast. I have to sometimes remind myself that it isn't actually a race. This is number 16, which is our actual quite a gold colour. And yeah, I rush everything. I'm just that sort of fast person. And I have to remind myself to slow down. And that's why I like finishing books. I like finishing things, getting things done, finishing pictures, you know. And so that's why I do everything so quickly. But I'm not necessarily recommending that. We're all different. And that's probably why I go out of the line so much, because I'm in such a hurry all the time. There we go. But I try not to. Try to slow myself down. Well, I hope everyone's well. Anyway, I've been out already this morning. I went out quite early because it was raining. It wasn't forecast to rain first thing, so I thought, oh, I'll go out a bit later. I'll pop into town. And I'm looking for a book in the bookshop, and I haven't got any chocolate, so I was going to go into the sweet shop and things like that, but it started raining first thing, and I thought, oh, and I needed to go to the supermarket to pick up a few lunchboxy things, so in the end I decided to just pop to the supermarket. So I went early while it stopped raining. I got rained on a tiny bit, but not very much. Okay. Now we're going to move into yellows. I'm a little bit unsure whether to do that one. I don't think I will. I've got the 43, which is a peach, but I don't think I will. I think I'll go straight to a yellow, number 1. Okay. So I just went to the supermarket in the end. It was probably better for me to go without chocolate for a little while. Sometimes I get to eating a bit too much. I sort of finished my Christmas stash already. It's probably a bit too early to finish that. Because I'm recording this, it's not the 16th. It is I'm just looking, it's the 11th. So, yeah, it's Wednesday today. I'm trying to get a little bit more ahead of my videos, but I have done a few that for later in the week already. But I sort of hadn't done this one. I sort of remembered it needed doing. I'm trying to leave a bit of white, tiny bit of white in the middle. But we've got one more yellow to go. I think we'll use the other yellow as well. And here's our top. Now I like my final layer, which isn't this layer, the next layer, to be slightly burnished down so that it makes everything look more vibrant. It's a bit more daring, I think, to do a more burnished colour, I think. But because it's sort of like, this is it, this is my final bit. So I'm using number 10 for my final colour for these bits. And as I say, I'm going to layer it up a little bit more. When I say burnish, I mean you could mean press down harder. I try not to do that. I try to just layer it up a bit more. So just go over and over a little bit. And I find it just makes it look a little bit more vibrant. And just adds to the illusion of shine and goldiness. Because that's a word. I think I should make my own dictionary so you can understand me. I do have a friend in America who was often quite asking me, what exactly do I mean? Which is absolutely fair. But some of her phrases I don't know either. So there we go. There is that. It's not completely finished yet. But you could make this your very final bit. But I was saying this is the final bit, but I'm going to do some detailing on it a bit. Hopefully it'll work. If it doesn't, then you can just miss it out. Now I find when I'm making gold, I tend to layer everything up, so this bit here has had every colour in it. I find that works best for me. With sometimes when I'm doing graduations of colour, I won't take every colour right back to the first step. Just depends on what effect I'm wanting. So this is just my way of doing this. Oops, I've gone over the line there a bit. Never mind. So we're nearly done. Now the bit here is you have to decide how much white to leave. Now I don't want a great deal of white. I just want enough to catch the eye to look like shine. But it doesn't necessarily have to be completely visible. So I'm going to bring it really in. Like that, and I'm actually going to do the same up here because I think that white stripe is a bit too obvious in places, so I'm just going to bring it in a little bit in places. There we go. Right, now we want our darkest brown again, which is the 76, and we need it sharp, so I'm just sharpening. And what I'm going to do now is draw in the shadows. Now I'm thinking that we look at the shape that Johanna's drawn us and think about where there might be shadows. Now my first thought is the underneath of this ring might be a little bit darker. Like that. Now with this it's actually circular, so I'm actually going to draw, oops, a bit all the way around the inside. Try not to go out of the line like I did. Like that, and all the way around the outside, trying to fade as I go towards that top, just to give it a bit more of a rounded shape, and then a little bit darker down at the bottom of this bit. Now I'm thinking now about this design, I'm thinking this little bit is indented, so I'm going to put a bit of shadow around the edge there. Now I realise this is a lighter area. You know, I've purposely left it lighter, so I want to leave some of that light there. Now, what's going on here? I'm thinking maybe we'll just put a shadow line around there. Just to maybe make it look like these are sticking out a little bit more. And maybe just darken the bottom of those. Now if you've burnished your yellow too hard, you'll find this doesn't show up so well. I'm struggling, especially here where we've got lots and lots of layers, to get this to really show up. But I'm going to persevere. I'm thinking it's going to be darker here, so I'm going to put a little bit of darker all the way along there, like that, to try and make it look like that, standing out. Those little blobs in that line are standing out from this bit that might be at the back. Now with this swirly pattern, I'm thinking if that's embossed, we need some shadow under it. Remember to press a bit more lightly in the centre here. Because even though it's shadow, it'll be lighter because of the way that we want the light to look like it's hitting like that. Now I think we need a little bit above as well, and below in there, plus below here. Now on this bottom row, I'm thinking just behind all of these round bits, just make it a little bit darker. Now in theory, if you add the same amount of pressure on every one, it should work with the way we've drawn the light and shade, because you've got the colour behind, but I would be a little bit careful. I hope that that looks different to how it did to start with. I think it does. Now we're going to do the bottom. We've got a lot more going on, but actually it shouldn't be too tricky. We have to decide what we're going to do though. I'm thinking under this first long line we'll do a little line of shadow. So basically just colouring a line underneath Johanna's black line. Quite straightforward, but you have to just concentrate a bit and try and, you know, keep it under the line if you can. Going over the line on top of the line is okay, but you don't want to go over the line if you can help it. But you know, no one's perfect. I'm certainly not. Now with these, I'm thinking maybe the top bits are sticking out and this is in shadow, so I'm going to draw some shadow underneath. So you want more coming up to the line, and then just take it all the way into that bottom section a little bit. Now hopefully you've got enough tooth left in your paper to be able to do this. I think if you're colouring in Johanna's actual book, it might be a little bit easier because the paper's a little bit thicker. But I think it is okay, it's working. I can see it, I hope you can see it. Yeah, I'm looking in the camera, I can see it. You can even use the black for the shadow right up here if you think your brown isn't quite doing enough, but I think mine is. I'm happy. The last little bit on there. Now I'm going to also try and put a shadow line under here. Now it's fairly thick and I think that will help it stand out more. I'm going to start from this end. I don't want it to be too dark in the middle. but it needs to be there. Yeah, I'm just looking in the camera to check. I think that's working. Now we have our more intricate design. With the circles, I'm always very tempted just to put a line underneath, like a little semicircle, but it always looks really odd when I do it. So what I'm actually going to do is just circle around each one because I think it will look better. You could try just putting a line underneath, which I think makes more sense, but as I say, I can never get it right. But you might be able to. I know some of you are a lot better than you think you are. And anyway, it's very easy to be self-critical. I'm not being self-critical when I say it doesn't work. I've tried it. I am, but I'm just finding an alternative way that I think will work better. I think it's more because it's quite a small area and I just can't get my pencil sharp enough and my hand accurately moving enough. Oh, that wasn't very good, but never mind. I'm also very good at doing that. Never mind, just move on. I should imagine that if you look really, really closely at the most excellent piece of colouring you've ever seen, you would probably find small errors in there. But, you know, when it's someone else's work, we're like, oh yeah, but that's fine. When it's our own work, for some reason, we don't think that. Now here, we've got this flower. Now I'm thinking, how are we going to shade this one up? We're going to look like this bit's on the top. These bits may be on the top. This might be slightly below. These are slightly below again. Let's put some shadow underneath these, the bottom part, to about that far up, and then under these as well, and have a think. Because I think it, you know, we're sort of imagining the light's coming from above and our shadows are all underneath, but I think doing a little bit higher up, maybe a little less, especially like there, where it's overlapping the flower there and each other. Maybe a little bit all the way round and then do it a bit more heavily underneath. Maybe that's the key. Now we've got this swirly line. I find these, I can't draw these at all. I tried. In one of Johanna's books it teaches you how to draw these, and I think the difficulty I found is getting this even, and although it doesn't have to be perfect, I couldn't even get it anywhere close. So I have a great admiration for anyone who can draw an almost evenly spaced set of lines. My hand just wobbled. I don't know if I put too much pressure on myself to do it, and I was a bit worried because I knew it was tricky, but that's why I don't draw. So with this one I've tried to make it a bit darker underneath and on top. I want the whole thing to still look a bit more three-dimensional, so I want to put some shadow all round it. Oh, my shoulder is aching. I'm sitting in an awkward position. Let's have a fidget. There we go. Right. So I'm going to do all the way around these little teardrops shapes. I assume they're leaves. I don't know. And then around here. Yeah, apparently it's quite windy today as well. Apparently we're getting the all the nasty weather that hit America recently. We're getting it, but instead of snow we're just getting rain and wind got a lot of flood warnings. My father-in-law rang last night. He lives near a river. Fortunately, his house is up a hill, so he's absolutely fine. But his church that he's church warden for is low down and floods a lot. So he gets upset, obviously, when the church floods. And he also has to rally around and find people to help him move all the furniture in the church. I think they've taken most of the pews up anyway, because they're not very comfortable. They tend to use plastic chairs, which are nice and easy to stack, and they put them up high up on the at the top on this sort of altar area. I don't know what that's called. I'm very good at this sort of thing. So they're a bit more protected, but they have strips of carpet which they roll up and put up high as well, so they are protected, because the stone floor is so cold in the church. It's a really old church, and there we go. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm just doing the same thing all the way along. Yeah, it's a cute church. I haven't been in for that many services, but christenings and things. I think 2 christenings and maybe 1 service. And I went there for a little concert. There was a jazz concert there once. That's nice. But yeah, it's not used by many people. The vicar works across 2 villages and does services in both churches. The one church, this church only has one once a fortnight. I think the other one does too, so they sort of alternate. So obviously the vicar can't be in 2 places at once, but he sort of serves the 2 villages. But he's quite an interesting chap, interesting character, and a little bit different to the previous vicar, which is interesting. Okay, we've worked our way across. We need to do this very bottom bit, slightly out short. I'm going to draw a little line here to make it look like that bit's just sticking out. And it's a little odd for a shadow to be above, but I think it's the only way I can try and show that it's sticking out. But I think the fact that it comes out here and here indicates that to me. There we go. I think that might be enough. Let's come out. Let's see what it looks like from far away. Well, I know I can see, but I'll show you. You can hopefully see. If you're colouring along, you'll see anyway. There we go. So we've done nearly half an hour just on that border. So I think we're going to leave that for today. I think you've worked really hard. If you've coloured along, well done. You've done a lot, and hopefully you're happy. And we'll come back and we'll just do some nice florals. I haven't quite decided what I'm doing colour-wise yet, but I'll have a think before the next video. Might be useful. And yeah, I'll come back tomorrow. So for now, thank you so much. I hope you have a really lovely day. Oh, and please don't forget to subscribe, and then you get a notification when tomorrow's video is ready for you. So thanks again, and happy colouring.